Greetings and welcome to the Supply Drop episode 47, a game podcast created by three people who know there aren't enough podcasts out there. My name is Nate. I'll be your host. I'm joined by two other co-hosts today, the first of which is Scott.
Hello.
Scott, can you explain to us how the Supply Drop podcast can exist on TikTok? What is your vision? What is your grand vision? I told you I can dance.
I can answer that probably better if you explain to me what TikTok is.
Okay, right. Right. Thick, do you know what TikTok is?
It's what the kids play. I don't know.
Yeah. I can wear short shorts and dance a little bit.
Okay, there you go. Well, then there's your answer. Nate, you answered your own question.
Yeah, that's all I think about when I think about TikTok.
Mostly that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That, that other voice that you hear is none other than Thick.
Hello.
Thick, I narked on you last week. At the end of last week's podcast, I instantly called Nintendo's headquarters, and I tried to reach their G-men. And I did reach their G-men, okay? Last week you said, Starfield, you're day one on it, right?
Yeah, I'm day one.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, it's an exciting game. A lot of people are pumped for it. We're more than a month away from the release of Tears of the Kingdom. You have to explain this for listeners.
I just haven't touched it yet.
What is the psychology? We got to know the psychology behind it, though.
It seems like it's a very meaty adventure that I would end up like.
So you have to have a runway. You have to have a runway for this game.
Yeah. I need to.
Yeah, Nate. It's like you buy you buy like a 95 Beaujolais, right? You don't just go home and pop it open and drink it. You save it. You know, you kind of look at you put it over there, and it's like, I'll decide when I open that, the time will be right. That's what he's doing.
It's very interesting. I honestly, Scott, you can not empathize, but you can relate to this. I can't relate to that at all. As soon as I buy a game, I have to play it.
Oh, me too. He's nuts. I don't know why he hasn't played it. I'm just trying to help him out.
The way I look at it is I try to play beyond the hype. You know, just kind of like go past a little bit of that kind of like
the honeymoon.
That honeymoon phase that everyone's on. I mean, with multiplayer, it's a little bit different because kind of like you want to experience it with everyone else, and that's
right.
Yeah, you want to jump on that when it comes out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like single player, I feel like I could wait, and the same thing happened with Fallout 4. Like, to be honest, probably when I pick up Starfield, I might like, hey, I'm gonna go back to Fallout 4 and actually finish it, and that's actually what I did. I finished Fallout 3. Before I went back to Fallout 4. Like, I started Fallout 4 and was like, you know what? I should finish Fallout 3. Spent like, I don't know, like 10 hours finishing Fallout 4, and then went back to 4.
So there's a chance. There's the chance you're not getting to Tears of the Kingdom for another 5 years. A small chance.
Maybe like a year. I don't know. Okay. No, I think I'll play it soon-ish.
No pressure. I just think that's interesting because I just don't understand that too much, but you're helping me understand, you're helping me.
Yeah. I think once there's a more like kind of quiet period, I'll probably pick it up.
Okay, a little lull.
Yeah, because like with Diablo, I've been spending a lot of time with Diablo 4 right now.
Really? Who hasn't?
Okay.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, in this week's podcast, we're going to be covering a few different topics. The first of which is Battlebits. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. The Final Fantasy 16 demo, Skyrim sales, The Last of Us, industry layoffs, and we'll put the final button on the summer showcases of 2023. Scott, tell everyone how your week was.
My week was full of Battlebits.
Okay.
Now, this is a game that came out. For me, it came out of nowhere. I didn't know this existed, but it's Battlebits Remastered. It's made by like 4 people. They've been working on it for about 6 years. I think there was a previous version of it, and this is their like finished release. I think this is why that's a remaster. But what it's hard to describe, and for our YouTube viewers, I'm going to have video showing, but it looks like Roblox, but it's actually Battlefield. It plays like Battlefield 2. You have, I think it's 257 players on a map. It's very big, full destruction. Everything is destructible. You have classes just like you do in Battlefield. You can drag bodies. Like if somebody's down, you can drag them out of the way and then revive them. Or if they're an enemy, you can drag them and just take them with you somewhere if you want. Just listen to them, beg for their life. Yeah.
So when I hear Battlebits, I envision a very simplistic graphic style. Is that kind of what it has? Okay.
It is, yes. It's really...
It's Minecraft without the color.
Yeah. I mean, it is colorful, but it does. It's very simplistic, and that's kind of what turned me off to it. But this is, my kind of game. So I jumped in and immediately found that the graphics are, well, I mean, again, it's made by, 3 or 4 people. I don't know how many. Not very many. It's a very small studio. But once you take Battlefield and strip away all those, AAA graphics, like say Battlefield 4, that's a lot of people's favorite. It's still a really good game. And that's what this is. It plays great. The system requirements obviously are extremely low. I mean, you could play it on your toaster basically. But again, it's very fun. The community so far is having a blast with it. It's open mic. It's proximity mic. So when you get close to people, they might tell you got any ammo or help me revive or something like that. And it's blowing up everywhere. I mean, this is kind of a, showing DICE that, hey, this is what we want. This is what Battlefield people want, and these people are giving it to us. We don't care about the graphics. It's all about the gameplay. So yeah, it's doing really well on Steam. I think it's like number 4 most played right now.
How much is it?
And it's it's $15.
Oh.
And it's got 24 maps, tons of weapons, tons of upgrades. It's a full-fledged game. It's a $70 game without the $70 graphics, basically.
Okay. Scott, do you remember when Splitgate was all the rage for a couple weeks?
Oh yeah.
And then it fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this is going to have more staying power?
Yeah. I think it will. I don't think this is something that everybody's going to be playing 2 years from now. I think there's going to be a dedicated few. Right now, everybody wants to jump in because if you're like me, you kind of got jilted from that last Battlefield and you're itching to play something big, with tanks and helicopters and blowing stuff up and team play. And this very much scratches that itch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm taking a look at the footage right now, and it's a little bit different than I expected. Like I expected.
Yeah, if you look at it, you're going to be like, well, but when you play it, it's like, wow, this feels great. Aiming's great. The weapons are great.
I meant that in a good way. Like I thought it looked a little bit worse, but then when I actually saw the footage, it looks pretty good. Like it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting like 260 frames per second. I mean, it's
wow.
It can play on a very wide range of PCs, which is great. Unlike, your latest Call of Duty or Battlefield. So
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
It kind of reminds me of Army, man. Like just the graphics.
Yeah, just the simplistic graphics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound is really good too. The sound doesn't match the graphics. The sound is top notch.
Okay.
And also, I went back, I don't know if you guys did, but I watched all of the trailers from the showcases in 1440p. And I didn't change my opinion of any of them, but it was nice to see, like, say, Avatar looked way better than what they were streaming. And you got to remember that when they're streaming these things, it's in, 4K. It's not, you know, it's YouTube just, waters it down till it's like 720. So much. Yeah. Did you guys go back and watch any trailers after the showcase?
I did a few, but we could reference it a little bit later, right?
Yeah. So I suggest doing that. If you're kind of like on the fence about a game, go back and watch it. Especially Outlaws. That presentation they did was not at 60 when they showed it, but the actual trailer, if you go watch it, is in 60.
Okay. I guess I'll be interested to go check out Hellblade 2. Because I was like shocked at. I thought there was a huge downgrade. Potentially, maybe there wasn't.
No. If you go back and watch it, you have the option of especially on your TV, you can do 4K. It is presented in 4K. I watched it in 1440, and it did look good. It looked way better than what they were showing.
Put on your headphones too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Sound is big on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thick, why don't you tell the listeners how your week went?
Okay. Well,
it was void of Zelda, apparently.
Yeah, no Zelda.
Uh-huh.
Was it 4 weeks without it so far? No, 5 weeks.
Over 4 weeks. Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah. But I've still been doing D4, and this week actually, I'm like on Act 5 now. Act 4 was really short. I don't
How many
know if
acts are there?
I think there might be 6.
Oh my god! I just finished 3.
You just finished 3?
Yeah.
You should. Did you start 4? Because you get your mount like pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Just got my mount.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Every character gets a mount after that.
Yeah, I was so glad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then because I got the mount, I started playing my other characters more. So then I'm getting more sidetracked. That's just what happens in the game. You get sidetracked so much.
Thick, are you paying attention to the story?
Yeah. I'm trying to. For my first playthrough, I'm trying to talk to everyone, see how, like they're kind of building the world. I think they do a very good job if you take the time to like talk to people, listen to some of the side quests. There's one kind of sad one where like the mom thinks like the daughter's cursed, and it's kind of sad. Like the voice work is good in it because there's actual voice work. I'm not finished with that quest, but it's nice that they had that little aspects in the world. What I started doing this week is actually playing with another person, like just randomly, like random people just say, "Hey, I need help in the world," and I'm like, "Okay," and I just say yes, as like I emote yes, right, and then they'll add me, and then we're just doing stuff for like I don't know, maybe an hour or two. So, it's more enjoyable than I thought. I thought it'd be kind of like you're just kind of doing your own thing, and you kind of are, but the way the world is tuned is you could both still die pretty easy. We did like two of the strongholds, those forts, and those levels, everything's scaled like 1 or 2 levels above you. So it is like a hard mode almost in a way. Not the hardest, because I'm not in world tier 3, but it was pretty enjoyable. We died a couple times, but it was nice to just be able to like. It still feels tense. Like having the extra player doesn't make it less tense. It just like the feel of the combat and the flow of the combat is still good.
Yeah, it really helps too if that person is like a different class, and you can kind of, help each other using those different abilities.
Yeah, synergize. There's a level of synergy you can have.
Yeah.
And the other thing I did was I did not finish, the Final Fantasy 16 demo. So I know Nate's been playing it. You said you finished it, right?
I did finish it. Apparently it was 2 hours. I felt like at the end of the demo for me, I was like, oh, I got another hour to go. But the demo ended.
Yeah, I thought someone mentioned it was like a good meaty amount of gameplay. But I mean, so only got through the first part. The first part's mostly kind of cutscene, maybe a little tutorial.
Oh, you're going to see a lot more cutscenes in this demo.
Okay, I kind of figured. So how estimate, are you saying those 2 hours you played, or is that just the total?
I think that's total. To me, it almost feels like a 75% cutscene, 25 gameplay. That's what it felt like. I don't know if it's actually closer to 50-50, but it felt like way cutscene heavy.
Yeah, I think the demo itself is about 2 hours. I mean, it's not you can't like stretch it out or.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And I've seen some reactions online that people are crying after they finish the beta.
I don't know. I tried looking at.
I mean,
yeah,
get attached.
It's just clickbait crap.
Yeah, really. It's got to. I mean, how invested are you? I know you can get invested into a movie, but I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, we're not the audience for those videos.
Maybe
but
not.
You know what? I enjoyed it enough. It
looks great.
It looks great. Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the ways the Titans fight, like it's just. I mean, I'm not playing it, but it looks great.
Yeah.
Some of the QTE, like like in the very beginning, the first thing it opens with is a QTE, and I'm like,
really?
I didn't like that, but I mean, it's not like a deal breaker. I don't like QTE still.
Yeah.
But it kind of is what it is with Final Fantasy sometimes, or like some of these more actiony games. So, but what I really like is during the cutscenes is they have something called active time lore. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. You pause it, right?
Yeah, you pause it and then
I
you
like
kinda,
that.
I like that a
Yeah.
lot. That's like just a like I wish more companies would do that. But that's
I
like
agree.
a big UI investment because like let's say you take a break from the game, you come back, you still kind of have an idea because you can kind of look it up.
Explain to Scott what that is.
So basically, a cutscene's going on, and during that time, at any time you could pause it, and there's a button that says active time lore, and it will pop up a screen and it'll give you information on the world, the characters, and maybe something, a relative glossary entry to what's going on right now. Like,
Kind of like a Spark Notes version.
Yeah.
A Spark Notes
okay.
version of what's currently going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't tell you the exact story, it tells you about the characters
Yeah.
from what I saw. They might have more story elements in the future entries, but it's helpful. Like there's a lot of dialogue being thrown around, a lot of world building, I guess, and not all of it's immediately apparent.
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
I have a question for you. So, you guys know this is not my type of game. This like I'm like anti cutscene.
me neither.
I'm more like gameplay, and like this gameplay is super linear, right? Yeah.
From what I saw.
Yeah. But I felt like it did enough story-wise and cutscene-wise where I'm like, I think I enjoyed myself. And then I go online to these message boards, and it feels like Final Fantasy players are kind of gushing over this, right? So I'll read this, and I'm like, oh, maybe I liked it more than I thought I did, right? So I just want to ask you guys this, because I'm like so aware of like marketing and hype, and I like to say to myself like I'm too mature, I'm too intelligent to have this affect me. I'm telling you, it affects me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it affect you guys?
To some extent, yeah.
To some extent?
Yeah.
I think it depends on your history with the franchise. Some people are really big Final Fantasy fans.
Yeah, that's true.
Although this one breaks away, a lot of things from it, right? It's the real-time combat. You don't have party members you could switch to, like you're only playing one character the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm just kind of lukewarm on this. I will take back what I said, where I said this game is playing it safe. I think it does. It's not really playing safe. They're really trying different things to try to grab a bigger audience. Like I said that a couple episodes back.
That's the key word there is bigger audience.
Right.
This kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 13, how linear that was, and how 13 was also trying to get more people involved because it was one of the first games to release on Xbox, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I do know I found myself kind of enjoying the combat a little more than I expected. I know whenever that game got shown a ton over the last year, and I was like, that combat looks like particle effects on the screen, like you're jumping 30 feet in the air. But then when you play it, it's it's kind of like Overwatch. Like if you watch Overwatch, thick, it's just kind of a lot of mess. But then when you're playing, you're like, it's the game feel. But like you understand everything that's kind of going on when you're controlling it. So that was nice. All right, so that was it for you.
That was it for me. Did you have any more comments on it? I don't really have any more until I play more.
So you're getting it, right?
I think I'll get it when it's 40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nate, are you getting it?
Not 70.
You guys tell me if this is crazy. I have no one else to bring up my potential crazy ideas. Can I say like I'm gonna get it if it scores a 92 or up on Metacritic?
Yeah,
am I crazy to say that?
Fine. No, not at all.
Do you guys ever do that?
Fine.
No.
You do not do that?
No, I do not do that. Yeah, I personally do not trust the reviews sometimes.
I don't either.
I'll read reviews, or I'll go to, of course, YouTube and go to my favorites and see what they think about it. But yeah.
Well, I'm like playing this game, and I'm like, I'm this is what I say to myself. I think I liked it. Like I saw the whole thing, and I'm like, do I want to do that for 35 more hours? I don't think so. And then, like I said, I go online, and I'm like, oh, it's better than I thought.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I just need more sleep or something.
Well, is it an RPG?
Is it an RPG?
I think it's more action than RPG at this point. That's what it felt like.
I mean, what I'd watched on YouTube, like I said. But
then you experienced 90.
I watched half of it, and I saw the combat, and then I mean, it looks like an action game. It doesn't really look like a role playing game. You're not picking a character.
No,
you're not picking their past. You're not.
No,
and then it doesn't look like it doesn't look like your decisions alter anything, or you. I don't know if you have decisions in the game. It just kind of look like cutscene, action, cutscene. So
yeah.
Okay, I just want to.
It feels like the type of game like you want to have chips when you're playing it.
Yeah,
like you want the room to be dark and you want to have a little blanket over you.
You know,
and you're like, I guess I gotta
doing.
play it.
Yeah, I was just eating lunch half the time.
It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah,
right.
I do know one aspect of RPGs I kind of enjoy is like kind of grinding and then kind of like, you set like mini goals for yourself. Like I want to get like 10 mana potions to like go on my little quest. And I'm like, I hope they have that in the game. Because at this point,
play D4.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about D4 in a little bit. All right.
All right.
Well, should I tell you real quickly about my week?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So what I'm about to tell you guys will change the nature of our relationship forever. Okay.
Is this about
You're
Fortnite?
going to be. No, it's not about Fortnite. You're going to be speaking to me with a little more reverence and respect than you did prior to this.
Okay.
A couple hours ago, I beat Enter the Gungeon.
Really?
That's the news.
Wow.
That's it.
Nice job.
Yeah. I freaking love that game.
Wait, you beat the first boss or all the bosses?
No, well, I rolled credits, and I know technically it's the type of game like, oh, you're supposed to beat it like 50 times, or I think a lot of roguelikes
but you
beat it over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished it.
How many worlds was it? Is it 4 or 5?
I think it's 5. 5 levels to the Gungeon. I will say this is I thought this was kind of interesting. So the game really rewards you for at the end of each level you fight a boss. And each level I think has 2 or 3 different bosses, so they kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah.
But the game really rewards you for defeating the boss flawlessly, not getting hit once. Because then they give you like an extra health bar like they do in Zelda a little bit. But unlike Zelda, it feels like you got to earn it in Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
Right. So I kid you not, the last 10 runs that I did, I felt like 7 of the 10 runs I did, I get the boss down to like 5% health left, and then he nicks me once. So I'm like swearing out loud every time this happens, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is the final boss, like the big one that I rarely saw, roughly the final 50% of the health, I only had a half of a health bar left. So I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna lose. And I did not lose. Nice. So it's, yeah. I always feel like if a game gets you to swear out loud, say darn out loud or dang it out loud, or something like that, it's a solid game, right?
Yes.
So that's it. That's all I got. So
that happens to me in Overwatch, but not in a good way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you yell at Symmetra saying you got to switch off Symmetra?
No, I don't care what people play, but I get mad when we're not performing very well. Usually we're not performing very well, and as a whole, it's not, that includes me because I'm getting tilted.
Oh, really? You do get tilted?
Well, enough. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. That game was 6-on-6, then Overwatch 2 comes out, it's 5-on-5. Do you feel the difference when you're playing that?
I do if I play the tanking role. The tanking role, they removed 1 tank, right? That's
so it's 1 tank per team?
Yeah, so like if you're performing bad as the tank, you are the one that's supposed to control the flow of the battlefield. Right. If you're not doing it, you are the one to blame. So it's a lot of pressure if you play tank. Now, I mostly let my cousin play tank. I used to play tank enough, but a lot of times I just play the other 2 roles just to not take that pressure.
Okay. So it's a higher pressure position now.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
But you do feel pretty good when you're on a good roll with it. I do that in the casual games, and it works pretty well.
Okay. All right. I know, like, to bring it back to Battlebits, I'm a little skeptical of Battlebits' long-term viability because I'm like, well, you're one person on a team of 128. Like, who cares if you live or die? There's 127 other teammates out there, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like in Overwatch, if they're taking it from 6-on-6 to 5-on-5, that means your performance matters, 20% more, or a a little bit more, right?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. But I think Battlefield is always a little bit different.
It is different.
Have the same flow, right?
Right. It is different.
I feel like Battlefield is like if everyone's performing well, it's like who's attritioning less, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I like saying we'll see at the end of things when I don't know what else to say. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
It fits on a lot of context, right?
Time will move without us interacting with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Before we kick things off, let's get to our listener feedback segment. Here is where listeners of the Supply Drop participate in the discussion by going to the Supply Drop Podcast YouTube channel and dropping a question, comment, or insult. We actually don't mind insults.
Sure.
Let's go over to our listener feedback correspondent, Thick, and see what he has for us this week.
All right. Let's see. It's loading.
It's loading. Okay.
No comments this week.
Oh, wow. What a shock.
But
What a
we have more subscribers, so welcome.
That's
Hey,
good.
thanks everybody.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. This week's listener feedback segment was brought to you by Skype. We know you switched to Discord. Don't you ever do that again. So I wrote that prior to knowing we're back on Discord.
We can go back to Skype.
And actually, Skype was kind of an antagonistic slogan. You know, it felt like they were attacking us a little bit.
Yeah.
But we thank you for the sponsorship, Skype.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the drop, the segment of our podcast where we talk about last week's most intriguing news stories. Scott, what intrigued you this week?
This one may be this may be an iceberg story. So, Embracer Group announced that they lost a $2 billion deal, and this comes with according to Engadget. Embracer Group has announced a major reconstruction in its business, of which includes game cancellations, layoffs, and selling or closing studios, an attempt to reduce costs and make the business more efficient. The news comes in the wake of the company revealing that a deal that was worth $2 billion over the next 6 years fell through, despite Embracer having a verbal agreement from its unnamed proposed partner. Now, GameSpot is speculating that since they bought the Lord of the Rings license, it could have been Amazon or Activision that was actually wanting to put up $2 billion. I'm not so sure about that. There's not many people in the gaming industry that could put up $2 billion. But even though it says, this was their slogan, groundbreaking strategic partnership agreement that would have set a new benchmark in the gaming industry. I think that's personally looking at what they've done lately, where's my notes on that? Oh yeah, they bought Gearbox for $1.3 billion, and then later Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. Then last year they bought the rights to Lord of the Rings, which I don't know if they disclosed how much they paid for that. Did they? I don't remember.
Not that I recall.
So, who did they have this agreement with? I'm thinking that it might have been Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has been buying into studios, giving everybody money. Ubisoft, I think Embracer Group as well. So, and then they just backed out of it. I don't know.
Could be Tencent too.
Could be Tencent. Yep. It could be Comcast. It could be, Frigidaire. It could be somebody
Verizon,
that's exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably either Saudi Arabia or probably a company that has nothing to do with games that just wanted to put their money into it and get a return on it. And they banked on it on this verbal agreement. I think they would be smarter than that. But anyway, I think we're going to find out who this is later. So that's why I brought this up. Hopefully they're not going to have too many layoffs and closures. That's always, not good to hear in the industry. A lot of these tech companies are doing that because they all want to be, Elon Musk, Twitter, just, run the thing with like 4 people. And that's not always the case. So we'll have to kind of let this play out and see where it goes. But it could eventually have an adverse effect on the games we want to play coming up in 2024.
Scott, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Saudi Arabia, the latitude of Saudi Arabia, where does it match up with the United States?
The latitude? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would think it would be lower, maybe a little lower.
Yeah, I'd imagine given the heat, right?
So you're
I would
saying
think so.
Mexico, somewhere there, even lower?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's slightly lower. I don't know my
I don't know.
geography. So
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to think of
right,
it.
Nate?
I don't know. I barely got out latitude line. I barely got that out of my mouth.
What's a latitude?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, where are you going with this?
I don't know. I was just thinking of the weather over there. I'm like, it's hot, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a poor question to ask on a video game podcast. Poor question.
Okay, we digress.
We
Yeah.
digress. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's just tough. It's tough to comment on something where it's just like, I have no idea what fell through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$2 billion though is not. I mean, that's not. If 2 million wouldn't be a story. 2 billion
Right.
on a verbal agreement, that just
Right.
sounds shady, man.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
does. And now people are going to lose their jobs over it. That's just.
Well, to digress some more, I think the PGA Tour. You guys remember the golf, the live?
Yeah,
I think it was called the live thing. I think they officially like merged together. I think like I think live was like Saudi Arabia's golf organization.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people in the PGA Tour were like attacking the live golf, right? Because of politics and
Right.
who was funding it and whatnot. And then now that they've merged, basically everyone in the PGA Tour is like, oh yeah, we didn't know things. They're all good. Everything's good now. Just come watch us play golf. Support us.
Yeah, funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well.
So from what I understand, Crystal Dynamics should not be affected by the what do you call it? The changes,
The
right?
layout.
I've heard
restructuring or whatever.
And was it Crystal Dynamics is still helping with Perfect Dark? I think they mentioned
we don't know that. We do know that the Coalition and several other studios are also helping out, but I don't know if that's in lieu of Crystal Dynamics or is that with Crystal Dynamics?
I thought it was officially announced it was with them.
Well, they are helping, but I don't know if that's something. I don't know if they came in and went, okay, here's your help, and then they left. I don't know if they're still there. Because in the interim, they got bought by Embracer Group. So I don't know if that might have been called back, said come back to work. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I honestly feel bad for Crystal Dynamics right now. Hopefully things are okay.
Yeah, that's a fantastic studio. I mean, good grief. The stuff that they've, I mean, that Gex, that's just like timeless. Timeless
How
stuff.
is that still on ice? How is it still on ice?
I know, right? Bring that back.
Well, it'll be something to keep an eye on for sure. Don't you think, Scott?
Yeah, I think this is. I'm hoping to like in the coming weeks have like a follow up, and it's going to be controversial.
It's going to be something you at least expected.
I'm going to be like the Dan Rather of gaming news.
Keep us updated on this story.
Right, I will.
Yeah. All right, so that's what you had this week?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't have another story that potentially was attacking media?
Well, I always attack media.
I thought in the Discord you're like, oh yeah.
Oh well, I did want to add a dumb gaming site title.
What's that? What is it?
If I might. These are just so easy to find. Let me pull this one up because it's not. My link isn't working. They might. It's probably because they took it off. Basically, someone at the Gamer wants to sleep with the robot from Outlaws. Yeah, the title is "Oh no, the Star Wars Outlaws robot is hot." And ND5 is definitely the droid we've been looking for.
Is that the one with the jacket?
Yeah, the droid that's apparently cold and needs.
All right,
needs a coat.
Can I defend this guy? Can I defend this droid?
Sure.
What if the droid is like he wants to keep a low profile, right? Like he's like
okay,
yeah. Ideally, he would. Yeah,
I get that. I mean, he could wear a fedora too. You know?
I mean, I felt like his character in the trailer was kind of like he's the serious droid, not comic relief. It didn't seem like.
Yeah, he's
he's
actually a Clone Wars assassin droid.
Oh, so you know this?
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. You can look at him and tell Nate. I mean, God.
It's his brand. The jacket is the brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think his name is kind of funny. ND5. ND5.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Is that maybe that's I don't know, Indiana Jones 5? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. But I just thought that was funny. I'll bring those if you guys enjoy it, leave a comment and I'll bring more of those to the show. I'll go out and find these ridiculous game site titles.
Scott, does the company that makes Star Wars also make Indiana Jones?
Now,
Is it
yes.
is that?
Yes.
Oh, now they do. Okay.
Lucasfilms is owned by Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So they'll probably
All right, I
run
like
that
that.
too. Yep.
All right. Thick, why don't we throw it over to you? What piqued your interest this week?
Oh, there's a couple mini stories. So I got like about 4 total.
All right, hit us.
Since we've been on
Wow,
the Sky.
4.
Sorry. Yeah. Since we've been kind of on the Starfield train, during all the media, talk with Todd Howard, he mentioned that Skyrim has sold over 60 million copies.
That's huge.
That's huge.
I was a huge contributor.
Yeah,
many-
I
how
feel
many
like I
times did
bought
you-
it.
Oh, I think I
How many
counted.
times?
How many times? I think I counted like. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say.
All right.
Did you buy the special edition? They gave
Yeah,
us
of
the
course.
special edition, right? I feel like
No.
on PC.
Eventually, you had to buy the special edition. It was a new version. It
Oh,
wasn't an upgrade when it first came out.
And the anniversary edition now?
The anniversary was an upgrade. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could actually upgrade to that. But I bought it on Xbox 360, PC, PS3, PC again, and then Xbox One, and then
Switch.
and then yeah,
Is
I
it
bought
on
it
the
for the
Switch?
Switch. Yep,
I
it's
have
on
it
the
on the
Switch.
Switch.
Do you?
And then I guess I bought it. I upgraded to anniversary on Xbox, and then upgraded to oh no, I didn't have to on PC because it was under. That's when they bought them. So
Let me ask you guys this: The Witcher 3 recently, they CD Projekt Red announced that it sold 50 million units.
Yeah.
That seems like The Witcher 3 is the hotter title.
Wait a minute. That was all the Witchers though. That was Witcher 1, 2, and 3.
It was the Witcher franchise?
Yeah.
But I think majority of that is 3 though.
Yeah, 3
Hang
I think
on.
was like 30 million of it. Yeah.
I'm Googling this. Someone Google this. Should I Google this?
Go ahead.
If you want to.
In the meantime, I'll mention that
Yeah,
this
go
makes
ahead.
it Skyrim is the 7th best-selling game if it's based on the 60 million copies.
Yeah, of all time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are top 5? Tetris is number 1, right?
I feel like we've gone over this before.
Yeah. I'm sure our long-time listeners probably don't want us to go over the top 5.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That was in episode 14, I believe. So we're,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we'll link it below.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott is wrong. Memory is a construct, okay? Scott.
Okay.
Witcher franchise, according to Gamatsu, sold
Yeah.
75 million units. Witcher 3 sold 50 million.
Wow. That is a lot.
I'm a little surprised that to me, Skyrim is like the quintessential RPG.
Yes.
And I feel like Witcher has a little too much of that, what's his name? Gestalt?
Geralt.
Geralt.
I mean,
Got a
Geralt.
little too much of him in a bathtub. Yeah.
Well,
But people like that guy in a bathtub.
yeah. I mean, it's a good game. It's not a true RPG, but it's, it's, I don't think it's, I played it. I finished it. I got a good ending. I'm good. I played the DLC.
You're not putting it
I'm
up
good.
there with Skyrim, though. It's
No.
not a peer. Not a peer of Skyrim's.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, Skyrim has so many different versions that I think people did buy multiple copies. So if
Yeah. It's been out longer and it's been on more,
Right.
more platforms, obviously.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be closer to 50 million if it's you don't count the duplicates.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure they're counting those, right?
yeah,
yeah.
they're counting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. A sal is a sal.
True.
Yep.
Same with GTA 5, right? Because it's on the 2 different consoles
Right.
or 2 different generations.
Generations, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's the
next
second news
one.
story? Yeah.
10th anniversary of The Last of Us happened on I think it was the 16th. So 2 days
Okay.
ago for us.
Okay.
Which one?
The first one on PS3.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Not the remake, remaster, or
Not the remake.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They had no plans for anything to show off that day, but that was about it. I mean, it was just the 10th
Not a
anniversary.
sale.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Not a 10th anniversary. Like, I don't know, reducing the price of the one they just released for, a week. That would be really awesome, wouldn't it? Just, hey,
I think there might be
It's
a
our
sale
10th
going on
anniversary.
PS5 right now.
that would
I
be cool.
could be wrong.
I wish
Yeah.
they'd do more stuff like that.
So they remastered that for the PS. They didn't remaster. They remade it for the PS5. correct?
Essentially, yeah.
And it runs well on the PS5, but it's a disaster on PC, or at least it was a disaster on PC.
It's gotten better, but it's not.
Gotten better.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not a
I think
buy
it's
still.
Steam Deck verified now, finally. Like, so
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's better.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it's still kicking as a franchise, so that's good.
Thick, where are you on that franchise? You enjoyed it?
Mediocre, but
Okay. I think me and Scott are like maybe under mediocre on it.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but okay. All right.
I like the first one. The first
one, right?
Yeah, the 10th anniversary. The one that came out 10 years ago, I thought was great.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
So
I
you
mean,
don't have
again,
taste.
it's
Neither of you do have taste.
yeah. I mean, it's it's a game. You play it.
Yeah.
You could have watched it as a movie, and it would have had the same effect. But
Right.
it would have been a great movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's probably why it adapts well to a series, because it's basically just a movie game anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Naughty Dog should have released, I think, some concept art for the factions on the 10th anniversary.
yeah,
That's what they should have done.
I know
But they
they're
didn't.
cashing in on that. All right,
Thick, what is story number 3?
Number 3.
let's move
Upsets
on
me.
from this.
Okay, yeah. Steam did an update to their client. I'm sure, like, if it's not really that big of news, but like they changed like the font, they changed some UI elements.
Yeah,
They say it's supposed to help them streamline like development for across Steam Deck and other things like big picture mode.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't really have any opinions on it. It looks fine.
I like
looks
it.
good.
Looks
Yeah.
good.
That's it. For that one. Okay, story number 4.
I
Apple.
was trying to think of something to say, but
Okay,
you
do you
cut me
have
off. You cut me.
anything?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
okay.
I don't have anything to say.
Not anymore. Okay. Okay. So story number 4. Apple's game porting toolkit. That is meant to kind of be like how Steam Deck does their kind of Windows compatible games.
Okay.
So we might be starting to see more Mac
Ports.
gaming, just in general. Yeah, porting too.
Did anybody tell Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Someone should tell Whoopi Goldberg that you can actually go to a store and buy a regular PC and it plays Diablo. And I think she might be able to afford it.
She's worth $60 million. I think maybe she could buy everybody a PC. So,
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
I'm not.
I thought
not
that was
feeling
that
it for
was
you,
a,
Whoopi.
that was a funny video, wasn't it? Of her being like, "Please put this on Apple."
Yeah. I mean, kudos for you for playing or wanting to play a class game, but
Right.
that's
Right.
You're supposed to. What does she not know that you're supposed to go to Twitter and just complain about this every single day until it gets done? I mean, that's how gaming works. You don't make
Yeah.
videos. You go to Twitter.
Getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Remember Terry Crews? Didn't Terry Crews build a PC because like I feel like there was something, and he documented it. It was like fun watching him kind of like get into PC gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Henry Cavill
like
did the
during
same
COVID.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So more about the tool. You guys know how Steam Deck works, right? It's running Linux, and
Right.
then it just basically has a compatibility layer called Proton that allows it to run Windows games, basically.
Unless you just flat out load Windows on it, which you can do as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, you could do that too. So that will like remove that kind of layer, because I think the layer does add a certain amount of overhead to performance. So this is basically kind of like what the game porting toolkit does for Apple in a way. So from what there is footage of it running Cyberpunk 2077. It's running at 15 frames per second.
Really?
But it's running, so it's kind of like they need to optimize it a little bit more, but it seems like there could be some promise in the future. It was running on the M1 chip. You guys know the chipsets to the current Apple?
Of
There's
course.
M1,
Do these Apple users not have phones?
Ooh. Ooh.
You can play on xCloud.
Sure. You can play Candy Crush and
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop. Okay, anyway.
Let me ask you this question. Why does Apple seem to be dragging their feet on gaming? What is the strategy behind that?
Probably because they don't. I think it has to do with the in-game stores. Like when you go to Call of Duty, right, and you play Call of Duty, it has its own in-game store. So when you
they just don't want that.
They don't. I think that they don't want the deals that comes with. Like if you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation, it takes you to the Xbox store or the PlayStation store, and you buy the coins or whatever. Well, of course, Sony and Microsoft get a cut of that. Then they've cut that deal with Activision for set amount of money. Apple probably wants like 30% of it, and Activision's going to be like, no, we're not giving you 30% of what we're making off a console or PC.
Doesn't Activision already give PlayStation 30%? They give Xbox 30%?
I don't think it's 30%. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying that Apple usually wants more.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they also don't like transactions following on. They don't want transactions inside of something on their platform. Just like on their phones and iOS. This is why Fortnite was pulled from iOS, and and this is why you can't play Game Pass on or streaming games on on an iPhone. Right. Or I think you can now, but anyway, it all has to do with the deals and how much. Yeah, you can use a browser, but you can't like download an app and do it through an app because they want the transactions. They want control over that.
I think it might be a little bit different on the computer side, their Mac OS side. So I think it's a little bit more open. So.
It's probably a little more open. And as far as the hardware, with the new PCs, the new CPUs, they're not x86 CPUs anymore, I think. I'm not up on my Apple hardware, but they're using a different CPU, which drastically changes how some of the games like Aspire ports a lot of PC games to Apple, and that, of course, drastically changes how they do that with that new CPU. So I don't know. I haven't had an Apple in years, so I don't know if that's something that's even a thing now. But they probably just make it difficult because they're Apple.
Okay. All right. Well, Thick, does this news story suggest there might be a sea change at Apple, or is that no? It's.
I feel like we might just see more games start to appear on Mac eventually. I think I forget there was one game announced. I probably won't mention it here because I can't remember it. That was released recently. I think it might have been XCOM 2. I could be wrong, but I'll have to look into it. Yeah.
Surely you can play Minecraft on an Apple, right?
You can.
I don't.
You can.
Can?
You can. Yep.
You can. All right. We don't need to get into.
Well, you could. You could on the Java edition, but I think that's gone now.
I think the Java still exists, but mostly
they're not updating it. Yeah, they're probably not updating it. I don't know.
C++.
Yeah, they should. Bungie should really port Marathon to the Mac because it was an exclusive when it came.
Destiny 2.
Oh, Apple. That's right. That's right. So was that news story number 4, Thick?
That was it. That's all I had.
Wow.
That was it. Okay. I think you did a great job. I think you showed Scott up. I think you rose above the call and really.
Hey, we'll see after our third hour of this podcast.
All right. I'm going to tell you a couple. I think I have 3 stories real quick. Kotaku. You guys are familiar with this website called Kotaku?
Who?
They published
I remember them.
They listen to the words coming out of my mouth. They published an article called "Data Shows Most Switch Owners Are Women. Gamers React Poorly." The data also shows that 45% of Xbox One owners are women and 41% of PS5 owners are women. The article references Circana Player Pulse study from Matt Piscatella. He seems to be kind of a player in games media a little bit. I'm not quite familiar with him, but you go on his Twitter, he kind of has like 5 or 6 tweets together, and if you shut your brain off, it kind of, it sounds good. He must be right.
Right.
So the article then goes on to attack Gamer Bros for suggesting that the data may be missing key information. It doesn't end there, people. The great gaming journalist of our time, Jason Schreier, also dove into this one, right? He tweeted the following. Well, this completely slaughters the gamer argument that 49% of video game players are women, are referring to Candy Crush, right? So they've been slaughtered, right? And yet, if everyone turns their brain on here for just a fraction, you don't have to go full power. Just do 10% brain power, right?
Right.
I want you to think of all the times you went into a GameStop. Think of all the times you went to a Walmart gaming section, a Best Buy, a Target gaming section. What do you think the demographics are whenever you're seeing other people browse those sections?
I mean, I think it's if we go to like the store, it's usually we see guys. I mean,
right, and I feel like
I'm not sure how they're getting the data.
Right. They did
I'm
not
not
link
sure,
to the,
yeah.
They did not link to the data, which people are like, well, something's a little fishy about this, right? I just know in my head, I'm like, 90% are probably men that go to.
I don't think 90%. I think that's a little bit too high.
80? Well, no, let me finish. Let me finish though. And I feel like when you do see women in these stores, they're typically a mother who's buying for their
Yeah,
kids,
that's what
right?
I was going to say. These are retail outlets that usually are if a woman's in there, it's very likely she's buying it for someone else.
Right.
Especially now
I
with
think
the
you just turned into a gamer, bro, Scott.
Well, yeah, I know I'm getting canceled.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman and you play, on a console, aren't most gamers now are buying, digital copies of these games, right? Or they should be.
Yeah, but I think just because the sea change went to digital, I don't know if that means like, all of a sudden females are more interested.
No. I don't mean that.
Right.
I just mean like
Okay.
at a retail location. If you go in and look at these locations, hang out all day and see how many people show up. And I mean, yes, you're going to see male and females buying games, but I think that in probably I would say a Target or a Walmart is more likely a gift buying experience for most of the people that are there.
Okay, because you're getting parents going in there.
Right. The only when I go to Walmart, I travel a lot, and I go to a lot of small towns, and usually they have a Walmart. And what I see in there is usually people browsing, or that is the only place they can purchase their games, is just that one Walmart, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know how they would get the data other than if you're on PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox, you're telling them what your gender is. Right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Yeah. That's it's just a weird article.
Well, and I also I have occasionally talked to people of the opposite sex, right? And I never found like a great way to start a conversation is like, hey, you play the new Halo? Or, how's your Xbox? Like, what do you plan on your Xbox right now?
Isn't that a pickup? That's a pickup line. Sure.
But it does not seem to strike
do you
up.
play on?
Yeah, right. So to me, this is so interesting because Jason Schreier, he is the gaming journalist, right?
Yeah.
And he's not an idiot, he's not dumb,
No.
right? And yet, if you disagree with this data, if you question it, you've been slaughtered.
Yeah.
So this bugs me to no end, right?
Is
Well,
he
I don't know
poking
about
fun at him maybe a little bit? I mean,
No way is he poking fun. That guy is he's dipped in the whatever he's dipped in. He's a true believer.
okay.
Well, I guess I'd be interested in the source of the data. I do believe the percentage definitely has shifted. Like in the past decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers.
Right. If I'm
Seems
just making up
a little bit
numbers.
high for 40%.
That seems high.
That seems crazy. That's way too high.
That can't be right.
I mean, it's thick. There's no chance it's 30%. There's
I think
no chance.
We're kind of basing it on anecdotes, right? Like the way we interact. Like when you play online, we encounter guys, right?
Right.
But it's also likely that the girls don't want to be noticed online, right?
That is
right.
true.
Usually they don't interact.
Yeah, because it's pretty toxic sometimes. So.
Yeah,
No, I played
idiots out
Fortnite.
there.
I played Fortnite with a woman. She was just a random. She was I think she was my age, but we got along real good. And every other sometimes we'd play squads, and every other one she'd get attacked by some 14-year-old calling her awful names. So that is true, and you could clearly see that doesn't. But then again, I'm just I remember going to high school. I remember going to college. I remember I have friends and family who are women who they don't play. They're not playing the games now. They might be playing phone games like Candy Crush, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I just hate the fact that this listening to your brain and trying to work through this is not you're a gamer, bro, right?
Yeah.
You're one of
Yeah,
the
if you
cast offs.
question that, then you're part of the problem.
Right.
It's a lot different, I think. Like, cause so I did go back to school for a little bit recently, and definitely there's the demographics definitely shifted.
It's changing.
But I can't say it's a 40% shift necessarily. Like, it's a little less believable, maybe like a 30%. 30% to 70%?
I can't believe it's 30%. I mean, I believe that what you're saying is, what you saw.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine 30% of Xbox players are.
Yeah, I just don't.
If you say PlayStation, I'd probably agree more. But like Xbox, like where are they getting this information? Like,
yeah,
it's from this Circana player pulse study. I do know that in the tweets they're getting a lot of blowback from this, and one of the tweets is like, I guess women are much more likely to fill out surveys than men. So there's I don't know where they're getting that information from, but there's a chance that women are more interested in doing that.
So it's 41% filled out
of the people who filled out that who wanted to fill out that survey.
Yeah, these things are never accurate anyway. So
it's just a snapshot. I think it's food for thought, basically, right?
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Don't be a jerk out there. Just that's the takeaway. Just if you encounter someone of the opposite sex online, just don't be a jerk.
It's good to see more diversity because it's just good to see more diversity because
more people playing is good for everybody. It's good for the business. It's good for just don't be a jerk about it.
That's true, for sure. All right, let's move on to story number 2. Scott, this one's for you.
Okay.
There's an Arc Raiders closed alpha trailer for June 29th that just dropped this week. Did you guys take a look at this thing of beauty? I noticed 2 things about this trailer.
There's a lot of things you can extract from this.
Ooh,
exactly right.
Bump. Yeah.
Yeah. Scott, what was your take on that? I mean, they didn't show too much. They showed a little bit.
It definitely does look a little different than the first trailer they showed, which was very
a lot of running.
PvE focused. Yeah. Like taking out large AI controlled robots.
Right.
Pouring one out for that trailer.
For the old.
And this one's it looks good. I mean, I have to admit, as far as graphically, the guns, the third person, the location, it all looks good. But and of course, if I get, I signed up for the PvE beta, so I'm still signed up for this. And if I get picked, I will definitely play it.
Okay.
Who
knows? I mean, it might be the one that changes my mind about extraction games. I don't know.
Okay,
good. Thick, what did you notice?
We have faith in Embark Studios.
We do, because they make excellent stuff.
That's right. Rich history.
Right. They go way back.
I mean, it looked fine. I'm ready for it. I want to see how it actually plays.
I'm going to tell you what both of you should have been noticing. Are you ready for this?
Third person.
No, even better than that.
What is
First of all,
yeah.
Player movement was incredibly slow, which I love. I love slow player movement.
Yeah, it wasn't like
they're chugging.
Wasn't Apex
slowly.
Legends? Yeah.
Right. And then number 2, the one time that the guy looked through a sniper rifle, it looked like that player engagement was. You guys know I love long distance player engagements, right?
Mm-hmm.
You love camping.
So I think, I just don't like everything popping up 15 feet in front of me and then you hit it with a spell, avowed. Right.
All right now.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. Targeted.
Damn.
All right, should we go on to story number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. That's why I picked it, okay? From Software, you guys know that company?
Yeah.
They released an extended gameplay look at Armored Core, The Fires of Rubicon.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the news is not necessarily that. The news is I posted this in the Discord, and then a few hours later I checked the Discord, and there's a straight face emoji right under the video, and that shocked me, right? So I don't know which one of you put it on there, but I'm trying to figure it out. But no, let me continue. Then later, I check it that night, someone clicked on that, so it was like 2 people agreed straight face emoji. Explain this straight face emoji. What did that mean?
It means nothing. I just click on emoji.
You just clicked on it? Okay. You're off the hook, Thick. You're off the hook. Scott, why did you do that?
I think it's like every time I see this, I'm less interested in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What about it?
Well, I've never played an Armored Core, so I didn't really know. This is probably like exactly what it's supposed to be. But that very first trailer got me really interested because, with like Mech Warrior, Mech Assault, those games.
You're looking at more heavy
Titanfall,
style, right?
yeah. I was really excited, especially the way that the trailer, the movement in the trailer, it was reminiscent of it looked like an anime, BattleTech kind of thing. But
yeah.
So with this very fast paced, it's just I didn't like it. I didn't.
Okay.
It's really not. I was a little disappointed that it's going to be something extremely fast paced, and honestly, the way that it moved around, there was really no AI. I mean, I'm sorry, no UI.
Right.
I mean, it just looks to me like
they were
Dark
trying
Souls
to
with mechs. Yeah.
Okay. They were trying to keep it clean. They do say that the AI is a big part of it.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you're
sure
in a
there
mech,
is
you
one.
gotta
They
have-
just didn't
yeah.
show it. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it is like third person mech, and I don't know.
Right.
Just I want another Mech Assault.
Not a day one for Scott.
No.
Thick, what about you? Did this pique your interest at all?
Graphically it's okay, but it is also a cross-gen title.
Is it a cross-gen title?
Yeah, it's a cross-gen
Oh,
title.
really?
Yeah, it's
Wow,
not
we're
a
still getting those.
PlayStation exclusive. Imagine.
Well, no, I mean
I-
cross-gen. Like it's PS4 and Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
oh wait, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I heard crossplay.
Oh.
Oh.
Cross-gen.
Cross-progression.
Well, cross-gen just has been erased from my memory now.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, I
That's
guess, because I like Zone of the Enders. That
And that was a little more dancey, I would call it. Right?
That was very fast paced. Yeah.
Dodging.
This one is not as fast paced. It seems like it is a little bit more methodical, almost in a Dark Soul-esque type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So
that's all I can really say. I'm excited enough on it.
Okay, so it sounds like you're gonna wait for a discount if you're gonna play it.
That's usually me. I'm the patient gamer.
You're the patient gamer. I like that. You got. Hopefully, you rub off on me because I get excited about these things. That's not good. They want you to get excited, right?
Well, that's the point of the trailer, is to get you excited about it.
Yeah, I'm a patient gamer for everything except Nintendo, though, because Nintendo never discounts.
Yeah,
stuff that much.
there's no use in being patient on that.
I guess I noticed one thing about this trailer. I felt like the first half of the trailer, the mech is kind of navigating this kind of large, and it's not open world, but it's super wide linear, you'd call it.
Very vertical. There's a lot of verticality.
A lot of options in, I think, your pathing, but generally you're going from point A to point B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I dug all that stuff because it felt like you could kind of oh, maybe I could snipe from this angle, I could avoid over here. And then it does the worst thing in the world, which you get to the boss, it stuffs you in a small room, and then you got to study the attack patterns. I'm so freaking done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, not only Dark Souls, it's like Contra on the NES. Like every boss I've ever fought has been study the attack pattern.
Jump, down, move.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that's the. One more thing. I guess I did want to say, I'm not a fan of this art style. Okay, let me explain to this, and then maybe you won't be a fan either. Okay, this is the player haters ball. Right.
Okay.
Here.
I'm ready.
Mechs are cool, right? Mechs are giant walking tanks with huge payloads.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah, everyone wants one. Everyone wants to do that. The world that you're in is just this crazy generic sci-fi world with pipes everywhere.
Yeah, it's very
Pipes and,
industrial looking.
Yeah, but doesn't it also look like, I have no idea if that mech is 12 feet tall or 300 feet tall.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah,
you can't compare it to anything. It's not like there's cars or there's houses,
trees
right?
or anything. Yeah.
Right. So it sounds like you guys are pissed as well at that art direction.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what we should do now that the news is over is get into the rumor mill.
Let's go.
All right.
Don't get too excited. We got 4 rumors. They're not that great, but please stick with us. Okay. Let's hear it out. Let's hear us out.
Hit it.
Rumor number 1, Machine Games is working on an unannounced game that's not Indiana Jones and not Wolfenstein 3, according to the Twitter account BoGorad222. I don't know if he's got any,
Quake.
What's that?
Quake?
I think that's what people were.
You think?
Did Machine Games make Quake?
No, they did not.
No, they
did not.
They redid the Wolfenstein. Say technically, Wolfenstein was like a redo of the original Wolfenstein.
Who made the original Wolfenstein?
Id Software.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's no Doom in the works at id Software as far as rumor mill goes. So a lot of people are hoping that they do to Quake what they did for Doom. So,
right.
But they have their own expo in August in Texas. Have a huge, like
it's not called QuakeCon, is it?
It's not anymore. It used to be. Didn't they change the
be?
name of it? I thought it was something else.
What's the new name?
I thought it was. I don't know. Maybe it is QuakeCon. Yeah, it probably is.
I thought there
Maybe
were
I dreamed
rumors
that. I don't know.
that they're working on Quake. There's something murmurings about Quake happening prior to this.
That
story.
studio is not a really big studio, or I guess it could be now, but yeah, I mean, just make Indiana Jones. Just get that out first.
Get that out, yeah.
Yeah, id Software. I want id to make Quake. I don't want Machine Games to make Quake. I want id to come out. I want what's his name, Marty? What's his face? To make it. So
Marty O'Donnell.
No.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
Yeah. Okay. Rumor number 2, Jez Corden leaked a few details about Project Midnight, which turned out to be South of Midnight, the Xbox game that just was revealed. The info is not that great. Apparently, it's a third-person, heavy story-based action game. It's a coming-of-age tale that's strictly single-player. I think a lot of people could guess that from the
trailer,
from the debut trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys impressed with this? I know we talked about it last week, but
I like the art style, but it didn't present anything on what the game is really about or what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So,
And I could see it being like a third-person kind of deal.
Right. Yeah, I guess to be honest, like that little cutscene that they showed with the blues player talking to that girl, it's kind of interesting a little bit.
Yeah, he was giant. He had half his face missing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, so we know what's the name of the company again? Compulsion, right?
Yeah, Compulsion Games.
They made Contrast, which was a third-person platformer, PS4 launch. And then We Happy Few, which was first-person, Bioshock-esque, but has a lot of different elements.
Right.
I can't really describe it. It was different, but it didn't really come together.
Yeah, I feel like We Happy Few looked great in the trailers, and it looked great
The
visually.
first trailer was awesome.
Yeah, the
it was.
concept and everything, but
they had to back out that concept they had or whatever.
Yeah, some troubled development, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rumor number 3, according to a new LinkedIn developer post, Probably Monsters, who as of a year ago had 3 games in the works, is down to just 1. If you remember, Sony purchased Firewalk Studios from them about a year ago, and it sounds like their single-player adventure game just got canceled. Their sole remaining game left appears to be a co-op RPG.
who is this again?
This is Probably Monsters. They had like 3... about a year ago, they had 3 companies working on games, right?
Okay.
So I don't think they have a history. I think they were like a new,
I not much to really say then, I guess.
Yeah. But I guess co-op RPG. Scott, what's the best co-op RPG in existence?
God, there's so many of them. I mean,
Is there?
Yeah. Destiny.
Oh, you call that a co-op RPG? Okay. All right. Thick, is there any other co-op RPGs that come to your mind? Destiny's a co-op RPG.
Diablo?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Diablo?
Okay, I'm bad. I shouldn't be doing a podcast. Yeah, these are not coming to my brain at all. Diablo's okay. All right. Rumor number 4, Insider Nate the Hate says we're due for a Nintendo Direct earlier this month or next. Thick, what are they going to be showing at this Nintendo Direct?
Not new hardware.
They're not doing that?
No.
Hopefully Metroid Prime 4, but I think that's still cooking.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like it if that Metroid Prime 4 was maybe a launch game on the next system? Wouldn't that be nice?
That could be. Hopefully it would be cross-gen, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I guess that was the rumor mill. Nothing too exciting, right?
Yeah. Around this time, it's that mill is slowing down. Yeah.
Yeah, a little
It'll
bit.
kick back up after everything dies down.
Yeah.
Everything settles. All those dust settles.
Right. Well, let's get to our favorite part of the podcast, which is big talk. And Scott, your brain is looking pretty big right now.
Well, it ought to be because we got a lot of stuff to consume. Now, last week we did the Xbox showcase and we broke that down, and then we did some other odds and ends showcases, but Ubisoft had theirs right before we went live with our podcast. So we're going to go over what they showed, and then I guess rate it. What you guys thought about it. So let's get into this first. These are not in order, but Star Wars Outlaws was something that they showed at the Xbox showcase, and it was a cinematic trailer. This was actual gameplay, so they did show some gameplay, and I want to like be this pathetic nerd for a second, and I want to bring some things up in this trailer that I saw that not everybody sees, I'm sure, and unless you go to Star Wars Reddit. Now, one, Amon Calamari would never do business with an Imperial, never. They just
we're deep diving here. We're deep diving.
It looks to me like they just use that species to fill a part, and that worries me. Imperials don't work with syndicates. They don't.
What?
They're a government.
But
isn't
part of the lore like all these shady deals?
No, the Imperials don't do that. No,
they don't do that. Okay.
No, and they don't take bribes. They don't take bribes. They just put a gun to your face and take your money. They don't. They're not a shady conglomerate. They think they're the good guys. They're a government. So with that one little interaction, that bothered me that they're not actually. These guys don't know Star Wars. Also, again, why is the droid wearing a coat? And I didn't like the ship. The ship looks very dull. It doesn't look Star Wars at all. To me, it looks like a Star Trek escape pod. Or not escape pod. What are those things that comes out of the Enterprise and they go down the planet with? The little shuttle thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they stand up in it and they don't sit down. Yeah,
you're right. It did look like that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, it just looks, And they didn't use any John Williams music. You don't have to use it for the... Yeah, it was all new music. You don't have to use it for the entire game, but... even Star Wars Survivor uses the Star Wars, So those things kind of bother me. But, and again, I'm going to go in this, stupid, nerd aspect. When I watched it again in 1440p, I'm like, what if this was not a Star Wars game?
Mm-hmm.
And then this game started to really interest me. What if this was, I don't know, like a Firefly game or, Serenity 2 or just anything that has to do with smuggling and, crime syndicates in space.
Right.
That actually, it made the game look better to me. This actually looks really good. Wow. Some of the things that
I have lost an ally.
Except for the little whatever that thing is that goes in like
little creature.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work in gameplay, but yeah, the presentation of this it just wasn't good. It just didn't look like Nate pointed out. It's like, oh, you climb on this crate and go to the middle of the room and then drop down right in front of somebody. Like, what was
stealth.
The point?
Stealth.
Right? Like, oh, you can do stealth, but you can get so. I'm hoping that the presentation is just not that stellar and the game is actually better than this. But the people that are getting so excited about it, I'm like, no, I know who the Star Wars fans are, not you. So I'm on the fence about it. I think it might be a good game if you just pretend it's not a Star Wars game. What did you guys think about this gameplay?
The gameplay was just kind of run-of-the-mill. Actually, I would say that for a lot of the Ubi presentation. I'll get to that a little bit later. But I'd say, it looked really good, visually. And it definitely had the kind of Division vibe to it. Just some certain UI elements really made me think
bringing up, showing up when you use it and then going away when you... Yeah.
I do like that you don't snap to cover. It is a dynamic kind of cover system.
That they're trying their best probably not to make a Star Wars Division. Which is kind of what everybody wanted. It was like, oh my God, they're going to make a Star Wars Division.
I think...
you went out there a little bit, Scott.
Yeah, you went out there.
Did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you were swearing.
I was.
Yeah, that's okay. We censored you.
I muted myself.
Preemptively. Okay.
But go ahead.
Aside from what I noticed, it just kind of looks run of the mill. I'll probably just pick up a month of Ubisoft Plus to try it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I do like the aspect of, they showed a good bit of running out of a building, getting on a speeder bike, going to your ship, getting in your ship, taking off and going into space and fighting, and then going into hyperspace. That interests me. I mean, that looks really good. I mean, obviously it's a loading screen going from point A to point B, but it's not. This is not what we're getting with StarCraft. I mean, Starfield.
It kind of reminds me of Starlink too. I think Starlink might be Snowdrop. Do you remember Starlink? That little toys. You had the spaceships, and you could build them. It was a Ubisoft game. No, last gen.
Was it like Star Fox? It was like Ubisoft Star Fox.
Well, they had a Star Fox.
Was it tied to like toys?
Yeah, the toys.
I kind of remember that. I don't know if anything's used Snowdrop except for Division 2, because that was Massive. Did Massive make Starlink?
No, Massive did not. But
yeah, that's their in-house engine. And and you're right. Some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about did not look as good as this game.
I wrote down that this looks like Ubisoft's A team to me.
Massive, I would say Massive is probably their A team. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like this looked way better. Now maybe I got to go relook at the trailer, but this looked way better than Avatar.
Okay, so
yeah,
I looked it up real quick. Starlink Battle for Atlas was running on Snowdrop.
Okay. Okay.
So they had in that game you could take your ship off and go into space off the planet.
Okay.
So I feel like they did take that aspect from this game.
So that we can kind of trust what we're seeing with that taking off okay. Well, that's good. So. Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, I just think I'm hoping it's just a bad presentation.
That was definitely a loading screen.
No, it was a loading screen, but you're taking your ship, if you compare it to say Starfield, which we know you're just going to hit a button and then wait and then you're going to be in space. Right.
Oh,
There's kind of just a they didn't show us that at the at Microsoft. But anyway, so Nate, what did you think about this? This is probably a pass for you, right?
I think so. I might get it on a discount though,
Yeah.
Just gotta think about things.
Wait.
Here's what bugged me to no end. Initially she gets in that big room with the crate and she has to jump on it and she's shooting everyone and she's shooting like explosive barrels. At one point she like pulls out a machine gun that does the lasers and then she just holds trigger and just starts strafing to the left and she's just hitting like. I didn't understand the narrative behind that. Yeah,
it just looked like it was. Again, not a good presentation. I mean, she picked it. It just showed that your little furry dude could go get that and bring it to you. So when it brought it to her, she picked it up and used it. Yeah. And then when it ran out, it looks like you're not. I'm afraid that you're going to have like the one gun, and you can just pick up other guns when they run out of ammo. You just toss it.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's.
Here's another thing that I hated. I want to see if you guys caught that. So, once she exits that room, she jumps on her speeder bike, and then she at a certain point, 10 seconds in, she triggers an invisible threshold, and then two other enemy speeder bikes just instantly form right in front of her.
Mm-hmm. And then it goes that slow-mo mode or whatever.
Right, and I play a lot of Fortnite. Everything in Fortnite is organic. It's like if I'm like trying to get to circle and then an enemy player is like, coming over here, I have to do a quick math in my head. Like, okay, their trajectory, can they turn around in time? Am I, do you know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah.
This is just like you triggered this part. It's scripted.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. It's scripted.
So but again, you're right. Is that what's going to happen in the game? Is everything going to be scripted or is it, because they say it's an open world RPG. Or RPG Lite.
Right. I think you're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get a lot of that.
I think so. I think they don't want to go too far away from that Star Wars movie vibe. But I'm if I just pretend it's not a Star Wars game, I'm a little more hopeful for it. But the presentation was not stellar. So
I wrote down a couple other things. Another thing I wrote down is Dank Farrik. Dank Farrik.
Yeah, it's like a cuss word.
It's a cuss word in there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was the other?
We should censor that out.
we should censor that out. It's for kids might be listening to this.
Right. Yeah.
But here's one thing I did like. It does seem like there was one choice. Was there just one choice in the whole presentation when the Imperial Guard is like, you got to give us the bribe?
Yeah.
And you can either say yes or no.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm assuming if you give her the bribe that you're not going to have a 5-star GTA.
Right.
Everyone's trying to
You're
catch
probably
you,
going to be walk away. Or
Right.
she just, pulls a gun on you anyway or whatever.
Oh, that would be terrible. Like the illusion of choice.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Again, Imperial wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. They think they're
I'm trying to recall scenes from Andor, which showed a lot of the Imperial. But you could be right.
Well, a lot of those weren't Imperials. Those
weren't?
were security on the planet that worked for the Empire.
Okay.
And that's when they came down and said, "You're not doing a good job. No, we're taking you over."
Okay, all right.
Because that's what they do. It's like, it's like, we're not going to take a bribe from you. We're going to send in like 5 guys, take over your whole operation, and if you're lucky, we don't kill you, and just let you scurry away,
So maybe not. Maybe they're not the good guys, after all.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, morally gray.
Sometimes
universe.
I think, the Emperor's kind of right.
Yeah. I did see one other thing in that trailer.
Yeah.
At a certain point, there's something up in the pops up in the UI, and it says Pike Syndicate reputation down, and it had a little down graph. So, depending on how many syndicates there are, it might be interesting to see, if you're playing with graphs and whatnot.
Yeah,
right?
It looks like you could probably go to the Pikes and do jobs for them, and then your reputation goes up, and then you go to the other ones. I can't remember their names right now, but you can go to the other ones, whichever one Darth Maul owns. And I'm guessing that that's going to be the big pop-up character. What am I trying to cameo? Yeah, it's going to be Darth Maul probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on where this time is, this looks like right after around Empire Strikes Back-ish, I think is what they said, like right before Return of the Jedi. I don't know. But anyway. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
We started with the big one at the Ubisoft conference.
Yep. Yeah, that was a big one. It's getting, a lot of people are liking what they see. I'm just overcritical because I'm a huge nerd. The next one though was the Avatar Frontier of Pandora. And again, this is one that I went back and I watched that trailer again in 1440p at 60 frames per second, and it does look a lot better than what they presented. But it is absolutely a Far Cry game. It's just a Far Cry game. I didn't see anything in that you would be doing other than flying on whatever those lizards are that looked different than any other Ubisoft game. I don't know. What did you guys think of it?
I mean, I agree. It's pretty much Far Cry. I think what some people have pointed out from what I've noticed is that potentially, like how you take over like bases in Far Cry. Mm-hmm. Like I think like in this one, it will have a little bit more value in terms of like maybe managing resources. Like once you take over a base, there's some sort of like fauna or something you could harvest from it or something. And you can't just kill every animal like you can in Far Cry. I think that's not like the ethos of the world, right? So I think they're going to do something about that to kind of change it up. So I mean, yeah, I agree. It's going to be Far Cry, but like remixed a little bit.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed, not that I'm a huge Avatar fan, but I think I would have enjoyed a more like narrow, or really just a single play linear game. Yeah, that just had a good story and, maybe a little bit of open world stuff. But yeah, resource management and taking over bases, I'm exhausted, man. I'm just so tired of that.
Yeah. I do know. I just watched The Way of Water last week.
Mm-hmm. And, no spoilers.
I won't do any spoilers, but I don't think that's a great franchise. I think it's very obviously it's pretty impressive visually, but then once you watch that for 3.5 hours or however long it is, and then you watch that Ubisoft version of Avatar, you're like, why does it look like garbage? Now, I know Scott's saying it looks way better than you think, but I'm just judging it from the movies,
if you watched the movie and then went and looked at this, it would be definitely it doesn't match up.
After watching that movie, I'm not in a hurry to jump back into that world, right?
I've never watched the original Avatar, so I have no stakes in the franchise.
If you went to the theater and saw it in 3D, it was pretty amazing.
Cool.
But it's more like when people leave the theater, they talk about how amazing the 3D was, and they're not really talking about how good the movie was.
That's what I felt like when it
Yeah.
released. Like, was it 2010, something like that?
I don't know.
Around
Probably.
that time. But yeah, I mean that Soul movie kind of made the whole 3D TV market for a little bit.
Yeah,
you guys remember that? Yeah.
Now everyone has one. Everyone has one.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, I've had them for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Yeah. Nah, go ahead.
Okay. No. All right. Well, the next one was, and we saw this too at I think Xbox, the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was it had a little bit different trailer, a little better music. I'm not crazy about side scrollers, but this one looks really good.
It's gonna be like Metroid, which I am more interested in now.
Yeah.
I wasn't with Dread, like Metroid Dread was like supposed to be a big comeback, but I ended up not being that interested in it.
Really?
But this one I have more interest just because it looks more to its roots, like a Metroidvania. So this team is the team that brought Rayman was it Origins and the other game Legends? Rayman Legends?
Oh, really? It is.
Yeah.
So those games are highly regarded,
Highly regarded. So so this has some pedigree behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Prince of Persia, the first one, in case you don't know, which I don't think a lot of people do, came out on the Apple II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Little way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a little bit.
x86 architecture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even a floppy drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is they did like kind of an Assassin's Creed
I have
montage.
something to say about this one.
Yeah, we'll go with Mirage first. This one, it looks good, but it looks dated. It looks like it probably came out in 2009, and the gameplay is fine. I know that everybody wants a more traditional Assassin's Creed, but again, it just been there, done that.
Yeah.
A huge pass for me. Okay, what did you guys think?
Yeah, I kind of agree to that. This didn't really move any because I like the newer titles.
Yeah,
right?
To a certain extent. I mean, at the first 120 hours is
Yeah. I mean, if they just tune that down a little bit, like almost to like the Origin level, like the Origin, actually, even Origin was slightly bloated in a way.
It was still really bloated.
If they tune it down just a little bit, I think I would like it even more. Like I never cared that much for like the first 4 Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I didn't either. I played the first one and I finished it. I thought it was fantastic, but it's relevant. You know, at the time, it was like nobody that's doing anything like that.
Yeah, it was cutting edge. It felt cutting edge.
Absolutely, yeah. I was using a new version of the Unreal Engine, and you could go in and out of crowds to hide, and it was assassinations.
Yeah.
It was interesting when they went to 2. It kind of lost me because it was very story focused, and it seemed to be a little more linear, if I remember correctly. And then after that, I didn't play a lot of them. I remember playing Black Flag, and I liked Black Flag, but up until the point of, and I stopped playing.
I got a game for you. I got a game for you.
I stopped playing it because you had to use a blow dart to take people out. It's like 20 hours into the game, it's like, here's the blow dart. It's a new aspect of the game. We're going to add something to it, but you've got to use this in this mission.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what didn't you like about that?
I didn't like the fact that it never opened up and let you do what you want to do to complete the mission.
So it's strictly stealth, kind of?
Well, not just that. I mean, it's like if you look at something like Dishonored, it's like you're here, your target is over there.
Get there, yeah.
Whatever you want to do. And that's kind of what I thought it would open up to. And it didn't. It started to kind of refine it back down, and that's when I just dropped off. I did play Origin, and I did play Odyssey. Odyssey I liked, but I just couldn't finish. It was bloated. And then Valhalla, I did finish the first game, not the DLC, at 127 odd hours, and that was just, God, that was so bloated, just so overdone, and So going back to
Which
this,
one did you like more, by the way?
I liked
which of-
Valhalla better just because of the setting.
Okay.
I liked the characters. And I mean, it's Vikings. I like Vikings.
Yeah,
I
not
know
too
more,
many Viking games.
Yeah, I know probably more about Viking lore than and Roman and Greek mythology and stuff like that.
They were the good guys.
They were absolutely good guys. Yeah, and if you didn't agree, they'd kill you.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so this is a pass for me. I can't go back to that. No.
I have one thing to say about this, and I want to see if you guys caught this. So I every once in a while I'll go down to my local mall and I'll sneak around as a fully grown adult
with a hood on,
in 100% daytime with my hood, and I kind of hide behind bushes and tables and whatnot. It's hard to do in the daytime. All the sneaking took place in 100% daylight. Mm-hmm. It looked ridiculous. It looked like that was a crazy grown man.
Yeah, with the huge white robe that was
right.
Yeah,
I kid you not. If that whole trailer was at night, I would have bought it. I would have bought the narrative. But daytime sneaking, very difficult as an adult.
Yeah, it just looked like a fan service game, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I probably won't.
I do feel bad though. Like everyone was like, "Oh, we want the original," but I mean, this kind of like feels like a case of people not knowing what they want.
Right. Exactly. It's like that game came out in 2007. Is that what you just go play that one again? I mean,
yeah. And it's like you won't have that same experience now if you just play something the same.
I mean, if you took Valhalla and stripped the Assassin's Creed everything from it and just made a slightly historical RPG set in a certain time with all of these interesting characters and a bunch of stuff to do that wasn't 127 hours, you would have a fantastic game. I mean, those people can do some amazing stuff, but it doesn't have to be an Assassin's Creed game. Just do something different. Take a chance. You got that Saudi Arabia money. Put it to work. That
kind of reminds me of the Avatar game. That is them doing something different, but it has a still Far Cry.
But it's not something different. It's tied to a license. I mean, it's Avatar. They can only do what Jim Cameron's going to let them do.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about like working with Disney? Work with Jim Cameron. That guy's tough. That guy's eyes too big. Fix it now. I mean, it's that guy's just. Anyway, he's a genius. Whatever. Well, the next one was Nexus, and this is the VR title, and just watching the trailer kind of made me want to throw up. It's just like
and this is
I don't
not
know how that's going to work.
Look like.
No, it was just a representation of what what they call it. I don't know.
Simulated.
Something like that. Yeah, simulated gameplay or something like that.
Should this have been Splinter Cell instead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it cooler? Because, you're wearing goggles in Splinter Cell. Sam Fisher wearing goggles. I feel like it makes sense with the helmet on, right?
I think so, too.
Yeah.
That would have been a much better title. And then the other one was Jade, which is the mobile version.
It didn't look mobile, right? It looked fairly good.
It looked pretty good, but we'll get into the other one again. There's a Division game that first couple of seconds of it, I didn't realize it was mobile. But this is mobile, right? Or did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are right.
I mean, it's Assassin's Creed on your phone. So
yeah.
I don't know.
We have phones.
We got phones. Yeah. Everybody's got a phone.
April Fools, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the next one was this one's this one looked kind of cringy to me. I don't know. The Crew Motorfest. It basically looks like Forza Horizon, right? I mean, like just a total
carbon
clone.
Copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less. I think it's difficult as when you're making these games. Like you just car games, all they do is kind of really recontextualize what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. That's really what it is.
Just driving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all about the cars.
Yeah.
Or so they say. It's another Horizon game. It might actually be pretty good. I don't know.
Hey, PS5 doesn't have a Horizon game, so
that's true. I mean, that's how you compete. You make your own games. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, this one, this is called X Defiant. And we talked about this in a previous episode. They dropped this was going to be Tom Clancy's X Defiant because it actually has, I guess, factions from Rainbow Six, Division, and
I think Splinter Cell, right?
Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. Yeah, like all from the franchises that, like the bad guys, basically. I don't know if I didn't notice. It was kind of hard to tell if they're retaining that with this trailer, but they dropped the Tom Clancy name. It's just called X Defiant, and it is basically their Call of Duty game. Mm-hmm. They had a closed beta that they gave to some YouTubers, and it was well liked. Mm-hmm. So this comes out, I think, on the 29th, or for the 27th, 29th, something like that. But the trailer looked pretty polished, but it also looks kind of dated. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about, but the gameplay looks good. I don't know. I know, Nate, you don't like these arena shooters, but
no, I'm excited. I'm not a big fan. You're excited about this?
Yeah, I want to try it out.
Summer,
One aspect I'm kind of interested in, there is classes in it. Mm-hmm. So I know there's some stealth. There's some like stealth camouflage that some of the things have. So
like Ghost Recon,
that right there
stuff
makes it more interesting to me than Call of Duty.
Yeah, I want to know what the gameplay modes are going to be. But anybody that wants to kind of take on Call of Duty, do it.
Free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll check it out, and I'm kind of excited about that.
I could see this kind of making a dent.
I think so. I mean, I think
a group game
could be.
Oh no, please no, please.
I think a lot of people are just kind of fed up with Call of Duty. I mean, that could be a whole show just talking about the crappy stuff they do in Call of Duty, or to the game and to the players. But not just that, it's just, you get a good Call of Duty and then it's just completely wiped and they start over every year. Mm-hmm. For me, it's just, I think that's stupid now. That was great back in, the mid 2000s. Now I think they need a platform and build from there. But this could be this Ubisoft might get it right. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one, which is a game called Skull and Bones. It was canceled. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's a beta. And Nate, did you play the last beta? Thick and I
never got
did.
into it, no.
Yeah, we can't really talk about it, but
NDA.
Yeah.
Heard great things. Hey, you know what? If you liked Black Flag, you're going to love this one.
Yeah, because it's nothing but blow darts. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, even your boat has blow darts. You just go up to it and anyway. This one, I don't think this thing's ever getting released. No. To be perfectly honest.
They featured it too much. They featured it too much in this. It's getting released.
Yeah.
It's getting released.
It's gonna be a mobile game. Speaking of mobile games, the next one was The Division Resurgence Mobile. And Skill Up played this while he was there. He said it's a straight up Division game. He said it's just on the phone. Now, it's not released, so it's, of course there's going to be a bunch of pay-to-win garbage on it. But he said it's basically Division 1 on your phone. Played just like it. Upgrades are just like it. So, that's Ubisoft pushing the mobile market into making it a viable...
Is this free to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, it'll be... Yeah. You want that gun? $2.99.
Right. Yeah, it looked pretty... I guess impressive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's really impressive for a mobile game ananymore. I don't play games on my phone.
Right.
I don't have any interest in playing games on my phone. So but that pretty much concludes Ubisoft Showcase for 2023.
Real quick question: do you feel like the response to this was like the general internet? Did you feel like people liked this showcase?
I think that I think it was good. Their last one, we had like Tom Clancy's X Defiant. We had the new Ghost Recon game, which was going to be a BR, which got such poor.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, response that they just flat out canceled it. Mm-hmm. The Outlaws looks good. Avatar is a little different. Prince of Persia looks good. Assassin's Creed might sell well. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But what I'm seeing, though, if you look at the lineup of games, it's a little more diverse than it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We've got some interesting, different types of games.
What's our rating?
I would probably give it. For an Ubisoft showcase, I'd give it a C+.
Straight F. Straight F.
Oh.
Straight F. Okay.
I think
I
a
can
C+
respect
is
that.
fair. I agree with C+.
Yeah.
I guess an F is like the company is literally about to fall apart. It looks like they're...
Yeah, I think an F would be like there is no game that you would be caught dead playing in that showcase.
Yeah, so it's not enough. I was using hyperbole with that. I guess C-, D+.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
And if that Star Wars game isn't there, then it might be an F for me. Because I think that kind of...
could see that kind of helped keep everything together.
It definitely helps their portfolio, right? I mean, it's something that's,
that game could sell 20 million easy.
Easy. Just, I mean, it's a Star Wars game. I mean, people are coming off Jedi Survivor, which was an excellent game, even though on PC it's hard to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want more of that, this kind of can be that. I've said before that I've always wanted a Han Solo game. I want to, make money and buy my own ship and smuggle stuff and take people here and there and fight the Empire. And this might be it. Or a Firefly game, either one.
They call her Jane Solo, basically.
Jane Solo.
Yeah.
That's a name from Firefly and Star Wars.
Is it really?
Yeah. You guys didn't watch Firefly?
I did.
I have not. So
no.
Okay, so Capcom had a showcase as well, and we saw some of this stuff at the Xbox showcase, or was it Sony? I don't think they showed anything at Sony's showcase, did they?
No, it was just that one game. I can't remember. It's the Path of the Goddess game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What do you guys think of this?
Gami? It's pretty. I mean, it's visually stunning, but I still don't really know what it is.
Yeah, I think we kind of mentioned, to me, it looked kind of like Okami a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Okami's a big open world game, right? It's a Zelda.
Zelda-ish, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think this is much smaller than that. Don't you?
I think so too.
Yeah.
But the art,
art for sure. Yeah.
But it's Capcom. We might not see this till 2007 or 2027. So
yeah, I think
it's just stuff way early.
It's rare to show that much gameplay, and I feel like no one knows what it is.
Yeah, I think that's intentional. I mean, it gets people talking. I mean, if you it's everybody's talking about what's that? What is that game?
It's funny. I was thinking Pikmin when I saw that.
It could be. It could be a Pikmin game.
They showed pure gameplay for a few different times in it, and I'm telling you that camera, it was like a weird camera angle. It wasn't like strictly third person, but it wasn't like it wasn't like it was
it reminds
top
me
down.
of a Muso game almost.
What's a Muso game?
Dynasty Warriors.
Oh
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it is it's an amalgamation of all Japanese action games into one title.
Could be.
Wow.
We'll see.
Yep. You heard it here first. Anyway, okay. So the next one is the Pragmata, which we got a trailer for 3 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And this was actually a delay trailer. Now this is kind of cool. I mean, they showed a trailer, they showed new gameplay, and then at the end, they showed a little note saying, "Sorry, it's going to take a little more time."
Yeah, that was cool.
It was
cool. It was kind of an interesting way to say, "Hey, we're sorry. Here's our gameplay, but it's taking a little more time than we thought." Who can't, who can get mad at that? The trailer looked, it still looks weird.
What do you mean weird?
There's a guy in a spacesuit and a little girl.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the Mandalorian. You're going to be protecting this little girl, and she's going to have force powers.
It could be, or what's the Japanese comic, like Man and Cub, or the samurai with the baby, which is where the Mandalorian got the idea, I'm sure. But
really?
Yeah, samurai finds a baby and he has to take care of it, and they have all kinds of adventures that are usually covered with blood and death. And then the next one is Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. I have never played an Ace Attorney game, but I kind of want to. Thick, I bet you've played all of them.
No, I have not.
Have not? Okay.
I have not. So
Nate,
wrong person.
Have you played any of these?
I have actually played all of them, yeah. I have Ace Attorney posters here, and I have Ace Attorney posters here.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so you're excited about this. This is the trilogy.
No, I feel like I understand what you're talking about. This franchise feels like just something kind of like you might want to just check out.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's courtroom drama. to
Yeah,
the
that's like how do
10th
they
power, right?
How do they gamify that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It seems interesting to me, but
Yeah.
and then the other one was Ghost Trick. I watched this trailer twice. I still have no idea what I'm looking at.
There is a demo
Oh, is there?
On
There's a demo
PlayStation.
on, I think, Xbox actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I might have to try it out because I just watched the demonstration and it just seems so strange.
Describe what they showed just to jog my memory.
Like words and swirly things and a guy in a hat talking
remember
about
this.
it. I mean, it just seemed like a lot of different gameplay elements presented in a very, very stylized. I don't know. You just have to go back and watch it. It's hard to describe.
Okay.
I'm not terribly good at describing things I don't understand. So the other one was Mega Man X Dive, which is Mega Man.
Is it a collection? It's a collection?
It's mobile.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
a mobile game. It's Mega Man on your phone.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like Mega Man.
Yeah.
And then there's a little title that they showed more of called Dragon's Dogma 2. And it was, unfortunately, really just the same thing they showed at Xbox. It wasn't anything new. Still looked good.
There's something in this trailer that pissed me off, Scott.
What is it?
I have
Amazing
the quote-
graphics?
I have the quote written down. Quote, it really feels like playing in a party with real players. You know what actually feels like playing in a party with real players?
Real
Actual
players.
multiplayer. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of...
It's a funny note.
I'm glad that they said this early on because that's what a lot of people wanted with the first game. It's like, this would be an exceptional game
right?
co-op. Please,
Yeah.
give us this game in co-op.
I'm surprised they didn't do this for this.
I am too. I'm not entirely disappointed because I don't know anybody that would probably play this with me. But
I would have played it.
it's really fun. The combat is fun, and the first one it's an RPG. You make your character. You have a background. The things you do in the game change. The outcome. I think I told you guys I got to the last boss and showed me this lady that I was apparently supposed to have a relationship with it until he bypassed. And I'm like, I don't know her.
Kill her.
Yeah, you can eat her. That means nothing to me. But yeah, it had its issues, like that was kind of a big issue. But hopefully they've addressed this. But fighting with these other characters, it's not like fighting with other people. It's like fighting with a good RPG party. Much like if you've ever played like Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale or even Pillars of Eternity, you have your party and they know what to do, and you can assign, kind of tell them what to do and give them attributes and stuff, and they just do it. You can have a healer and a tank, and they work. They do damage. They're not just there to
to look cool.
Right. They're just there to simulate playing with people. They actually do stuff. So
the pawn system is an integral part to the original.
Yeah,
so.
and it's very interesting. It's very unique, and what's cool is that you make your own pawn. You have you and your pawn, and then the other two you kind of trade out. But what you're trading out is other people's pawns. So the ones that they've created, you actually see in this world walking around, and you just walk up and go, "Hey, and go with me," and and they go, "Okay."
Yeah.
So yours is actually walking around too in the world, and then when somebody uses your pawn, when you log back into the game, it says, "Oh, your pawn brought you like materials and stuff." So stuff that they've collected in that other person's game, you get in your game. So it makes this connection between everybody playing the game. It's not entirely online, but it's
like a Strand game, Hideo Kojima.
Kind of like that. Yeah, somebody makes a ladder and then it's in your
Yeah.
game. It's like, oh, thanks for the ladder. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So yeah, it makes it fun, and I'm a big thing about that. When you're playing an RPG and you go in a dark hole in the ground, it should be dark. And you should have to have light. It is. It's not like Skyrim where you go in a place that's 100 years old and there's like 50 candles everywhere. No, it is absolutely dark. If you don't have a light, you're pretty much screwed.
Out of luck.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I like that. So there's a lot of little things like that in this game. So I'm excited about this. It looks good. Still did not get a release date. So, and that was pretty much it for the Capcoms.
We got to grade this one.
Yeah.
I'll,
No, you guys go first.
Wait. We kind of missed the one super important game.
Capcom Town.
Exo Primal.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. I guess I skipped that because it's coming out in like, what, 2 weeks or something?
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was released like a month ago.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of previews.
They're really trying to oversell it. I will play it because it's going to be on Game Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're pretty transparent about it having, live service and battle pass, I think that kind of goes against it. But
Really?
I mean, yeah.
What,
just because the current narrative against
It's-
this sort of thing, right?
is it
But
free to play outside of Game Pass?
I don't even think so.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong. I think it's a box purchase.
Yeah.
I think the thing that turns me off the game, it sounds like, I don't know if it's the main mode, but I think it is the main mode where both your teams are in a lobby together, the teams that are facing off with each other, and then they basically have to do this like horde rush mode. Both of them are fighting waves and waves of enemies, and then at the very end of the round, you kind of the two teams are on top of each other. So then you're fighting
took
PvP.
that out.
Did they?
Yeah, that was when we
okay.
first heard about it, right? I could be wrong.
I think a month ago because I remember the previews were dropping a month ago, and that's how one of them was
I
describing
remember
it like
that
that.
too.
Yeah.
But I think they removed that based on feedback.
Okay. Feedback, really? Okay. Okay.
I could be wrong because I guess how they marketed this I didn't really have much interest paying attention to this part. So
Yeah.
I'll play it when it gets out. I want to give it a chance. But
Yeah.
I'm not interested in hearing too much more about it. So
All right. You guys do your rate. I'll be right back.
All right. Thick. I'm giving this a slightly higher grade than Ubisoft's conference.
I can't say I would give it a higher rate.
Nah, the only reason there's two titles that popped out, Path of the Goddess and then Dragon's Dogma 2, and I'm like, Ubisoft only had one title that stood out. But you're looking at it from a different angle?
I think, they had more marquee titles. Because, I might not be interested in some of them, like the Avatar or whatever.
But they're big titles.
They're big titles.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
And then they were mostly diverse. They had the smaller titles, like Mirage.
Okay.
It's debatable whether Mirage is considered a small title for them because it's supposed to be like a throwback to Assassin's Creed.
Right.
But I think they brought more. Ubisoft brought more than Capcom did. A lot of people on the internet seem to be wondering why did Capcom even need to have a direct? Because a lot of this. Hello. We haven't rated it yet. We were kind of deliberating.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Nate wanted to give it a lower score than
A
Ubisoft.
higher score. A higher score.
A higher score.
Yeah.
But I disagree. I think this is probably a lower score for me. I think it's a C-.
Okay. I'd go C- too. So I guess I'd go D+ on the Ubisoft. Just and my method was there's two games that I'm actually somewhat interested in, Scott. Path of the Goddess and Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm rating it at. Is Dragon's Dogma rate's pretty high for me, but everything else, so I'm gonna have to give it. Yeah, I'll just give it a B- probably.
Now, why did you skip over Capcom Town? Why did you do that?
I didn't see that. I
think
really
it's
relevant.
Capcom Town?
It's super relevant because we're going to the metaverse, people. I think it's a collection of Capcom's old retro games, and I think it's like you dive into this not MMO, but you're diving into the space where everyone can play them. It's like a social,
kind of like
a
a virtual arcade.
They're pushing their Capcom ID. I don't know if you guys noticed that, right?
Great,
they want you to make a Capcom account to play Exo Primal, and you'll need it for other things in the future.
Of course.
They're all doing that now, aren't they?
Yeah. And what's your phone number?
I got past Blizzards. Remember, I tried 6 months ago. I tried playing Overwatch 2 or something.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get past that. But then I signed up for Diablo 4. So I think maybe I should go back.
Did they want
2.
your telephone number for?
I don't know if they did.
I don't remember them asking me.
Well, you've had yours for a while, so you didn't need to worry about it.
Oh, I took mine out.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, you can go back in and just
they got
delete.
it. Oh,
They're probably like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah. All right.
Can't delete the internet.
So let me ask you guys this: the showcase is over. We're how many weeks away from it? We're at least 1+ week away from it. What are your overall thoughts on it?
Like overall, like everything.
Yeah.
I think some key things for me. I have to say I'm way more excited about Starfield than I was before.
Really?
I was more apprehensive than I was excited. Now, after seeing it, I'm more excited than apprehensive.
Would you say that's your top game of the show?
I would say so. Yeah, I would have to
Yeah.
say Starfield. Fable is probably a second. Even just because it. Again, I was very apprehensive, but seeing that trailer, they get it. You know, they get the IP. They get Fable, right? They get the IP. So I feel a little bit better about that as well. So yeah. And then the Spider-Man trailer was fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a good showing for everybody. PlayStation not as much because again they stopped it. They were really the only ones that didn't show what you're going to be playing next year, or beyond. You know, Spider-Man 2.
Scott, you're playing Concord next year. The hamburger game.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Starfield doesn't have hamburgers; they have sandwiches. So you know, I mean, if that could be debatable, right? Which one's better, hamburger or sandwich? So
yeah.
and apparently, Fable has sandwiches. And Microsoft's obsessed with sandwiches; they obsess over food. I think overall it was great. I actually like this better than E3. I like having these different ones on different days and kind of spreading out at least a little bit. And then catching all the little ones in between.
I do feel the little ones really got lost in translation. Like I feel like they should have.
You think so? I think that if you're on these websites and seeing the presentations, they're showing you they're scheduling the other presentations. Like if you went to PC Gamer, they give you the lowdown of like everybody's and what time and where and when you can watch it. At E3, a lot of that stuff you just don't see. They don't show it. They just show the big stuff. You know, you have to kind of dig for all those other little trailers. This way, everybody kind of had their own little spotlight, even though some of them, you know, didn't resonate with me at all.
I think that's really what it is. Like some of these really didn't get that spotlight in a way because it's releasing with such a dense amount of big titles too. They just get overshadowed. Like I almost feel like some of it should have been
a month away, like a month from now.
No, not necessarily a month.
Maybe just
away,
spread out
like,
a little bit more.
Spread out the bigger conferences a little bit more, and then sprinkle in the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It would probably benefit them to maybe like have another one, kind of their own, maybe like a month from now, right?
Yeah.
And kind of away from Sony and Microsoft.
Why do you think all these publishers like to pick this 2-week period and they all jump in that little time frame?
I feel like they get ready for the holidays, basically.
Yeah.
This is what we can expect.
Yeah, this is for their shareholders and, you know, all that investors and all that stuff. Show what they've got.
Yeah. Thick, what was your overall interpretation of the events?
I thought it was good.
You did think it was good?
I thought it was better than last year. Like I think we're back to kind of like in full swing. Like it seems like last year was kind of like quieter. Not like super quiet necessarily, but like this year was a lot louder. It was nice.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And Thick, what was your game of the show?
Probably Starfield.
It's hard to get away from that.
Yeah, I think my second game, to be honest, is probably Motorsport. To be honest.
Really?
What?
Yeah. I like
really?
Motorsport.
Okay.
Because they did have a little deep dive afterwards, and we didn't really mention this, but like it's basically instead of like buying car parts, you're kind of allocating points, kind of like almost, and you can respect your car in a way.
RPG.
Car RPG is what they're saying.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's a nice way to change it up.
Yeah.
So that they kind of just dove into the progression of it.
Yeah, and it looks I wouldn't say it looked as good as it initially shown.
Yeah,
but it looks fine.
Right.
You know, I have a bias towards racing games right now because of the wheel. So
No, you got yeah. What are you using the wheel most for right now?
I used it for F1 recently. I haven't.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I've been trying to go to other games, but haven't set it up because I put it to the side for now, and now I'm kind of like cleaning. It's behind me somewhere.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Need to build that roll cage.
Yeah.
I thought the show. I was hugely disappointed in the show, and obviously, so much of it is due to expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's not a single game popped up where I'm like, that is a day one game for me. You know?
So no extraction.
No, I thought we were gonna get a wave of them. I thought we were gonna get away. You know, no battle royales, no survivor games. You know, I did write down. You know, there's 4 games that I'm interested after the show. Most interested. The 3 CGI trailers that told us nothing. The games and service titles from PlayStation, and then Dune Awakening. So that is the survive. Yeah. So. That's the studio who did Conan Exiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which,
Funcom.
It's Funcom. Okay, so my interpretation of that is that game looks like garbage, but that game has a community around it because I think people like that game, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to see their second effort. This Dune Awakening certainly looks like a more polished.
Conan.
They've definitely they've definitely got experience with the desert. You know, theme.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Not much else there.
Well, what about Helldivers 2?
I thought that looked terrible. That was probably my most disappointing game. Now, what I think what's going to happen is in a month or two, we're going to get a state of play, and we're going to see 10 minutes of Helldivers 2. That's what I'm anticipating because apparently it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brain is like, they just got to show something better than what they showed, right?
Yeah.
There has to be something cool. I was so disappointed in that. I will not even utter its name. But you know, outside of that, you remember a few years ago who was the developer of PUBG? It was Brendan Green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you guys remember? Man, I don't know if it was 3 years ago. He made like his next game is called like Prologue. There was like a brief teaser where it was like a wood shot. It was like there was like lightning going on. It didn't show anything. Right. But the premise was like, oh, I'm making an open world game to end open world games. Like I'm making like basically Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm like, I thought we'd start seeing these like really ambitious titles. We didn't get them. Right. We got Assassin's Creed 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I meant to go back and look, but PAX Day, I believe, was at one of the PC.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to go back and take a look at that because I want to see what that looks like now.
Yeah.
And that is another game that I'm excited about. With the claims that they're making, of having an open world game where you're not the hero, you can just you can make wheat, and beer and then sell it on a counter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Nate, I kind of get it. I mean, it's you've got live service and then you've got the single player and then you've got multiplayer.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of want to show a well-rounded amount of those. And I now that I think about it, I don't think we got that. I think we saw a lot of single player stuff.
Yeah.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good takeaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
A lot of single player stuff. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, it's, we'll see how many copies Starfield sells, right?
Yeah. It's going to be big. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nate, Starfield's not something you're interested in, or
that is like one of the like B tier. Like, okay, I can kind of talk myself into it. I'm definitely looking forward to the reviews. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. But I'm not like I'm definitely more interested in those fair games by Avon that might not even be good, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with that game, because that game to me is like that's kind of a Han Solo simulator, right? I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want.
You can. Yeah. I mean, I think you can make it what you want. You don't have to be a smuggler or a pirate.
Right.
You could be the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can even send money to your parents every week.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, and go visit them, which is kind of an odd thing, but sure, why not?
Yeah, it's funny, and I don't like this about myself, but like I watched that Star Wars. What is the Star Wars
Outlaws.
open world game? Outlaws.
Outlaws.
And you know how that just has like a everything's just gonna roll smoothly in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Starfield has like, oh no, you're upgrading now. Like you will be building a base for the next 20 minutes. Figure out the systems, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels more like it's gonna be hitting my brain like you're doing this now, damn it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Outlaws is just like you just push forward, watch this
Yeah.
pretty stuff.
Here's a
you know.
QTE for you. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like that about myself, but
No, those are two different
I see
games.
what you mean.
Yeah, I mean those are. I mean, it's marketed and designed to be. Starfield is not. Well, their games are. On paper, it doesn't look like it's for everybody. It's a deep RPG with all of these mechanics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they just appeal to a lot of people.
Right.
And you can't say that the same thing about a lot of other RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an RPG. You pick your character, and you have what you do in the world has it changes it, and you have a background, and that kind of thing. So we'll see what comes when that's released, and the if it's going to leave like a crater on the market, because those things kind of drive us like, oh, everybody's Ubisoft and Gearbox and all these other places. Wow, we need to make a Starfield. We need to make that single player giant. People are going to play forever.
Yeah.
That tends to start changing the way that people make games. Just like these BRs changed the way Fortnite and PUBG changed how we saw multiplayer and how we played multiplayer. And then now we've got extractions, and then I want the next new thing to come out. And I just that wasn't there this year. I don't give it a lower grade for that, but I see what you're saying. We need that. We need that game that he's making that makes the world. You just go into a world and be whatever. I'm not there yet, unfortunately.
No, and it did seem like the overall media. You listen to a lot of podcasts. It seems like people are crazy high. It's not just you two. People are crazy high in Starfield.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it just
every
looks
once in a
good.
while, I'll hear a host be like, that's not my type of game, but I'm happy for people who love that stuff. So
yeah.
I would say on the multiplayer front, perhaps we'll just see more like smaller events regarding those throughout the year.
Yeah. Well,
I think like a lot of times they do
Battlebits.
deserve their own spotlight. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. There's that director Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
He did District 9. So he's apparently making a new battle royale called Off the Grid.
Yeah.
And probably 2 months ago, they released like 2 or 3 like story cutscenes from that game. I'm like, oh, that's an E3 title, or that's a Summer Showcase title. That one didn't show up, right? So
yeah, we didn't see that.
Yeah, and I do wonder too. I do wonder if, because I always like to look at like the strategy. PlayStation's putting a lot of their chips into gas and games as a service, and then essentially Xbox showed up with single player games, right?
Right.
But I do wonder if Xbox was anticipating we're going to have Activision Blizzard at this point. So we'll be talking about Diablo 4. We'll be talking about.
I think that they probably, when they first started planning E3, they had a contingency plan. That they had E3 with Activision and E3 without, and they just had to pull the plug on one of them at a certain time and go with it.
Right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently we may get a verdict on that next week.
On what?
On the ABK.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was supposed to close out by next week. But yeah, we'll see. One thing, though, I would mention about Xbox's showcase is they kind of did do what they usually don't do, which is mainly single-player games. So that's probably what people wanted to see anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, they had to show their cards on something. Yeah. They couldn't go... They couldn't go another E3 with that wait till next year, right?
Right.
They had Starfield, but you can't make a whole show with one game.
Right.
And it's what they showed. I still think Avowed looks great. I like the art style. I think it looks good. Does it follow the Pillars of Eternity? Not really. But I mean, you're talking about a almost like a 2-dimensional top-down, RPG as opposed to a living, breathing, three-dimensional world. And then, Fable, and then Forza, and, all of these are going to be fantastic games as long as they're not just another Redfall. But I don't think they're going to let that happen again.
I will actually replace Motorsport as my second most anticipated with Avowed, now that I think about it.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Avowed to me looks just fun. It looks like a fun RPG. Yeah.
I did go back after last week's show, and I watched that teaser. Remember with some dude fires an arrow past a mountain, and then it did look like it went into gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the tone of that was more like, oh, this is like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Like it had a gravitas to it.
Yeah.
And this just looks like hit bears and there's flowers in the background.
This looks like Outer Worlds
Outer Worlds
in a medieval setting, which I'm okay with. But
I think I read an interview today where they said that it's not going to be structured like Outer Worlds, which was like I think it's that was hub based, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like, this is a legit open world game.
Yeah, it's just small. It's not as big as Skyrim, which I'm okay with.
Right.
I don't have time to play another 500-hour RPG,
especially with Starfield.
Yeah, 20 or 30 hour. I'm cool with that. But and we've talked about that too. Having these, you can play 500 hours. And
right.
No, we don't want that. I mean, we want to be able to at least finish something in a reasonable amount of time. Starfield is different because you can probably finish that main quest in 20 hours or so and feel like you're done with it.
Or you think Starfield could be finished that quickly?
I don't know. I mean, like if you play I'm just referring to their other games,
right.
Fallout 4 and Skyrim. If you just strictly played the main quest, basically, it was like a 20 or 30 hour game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and some people did that. They just did the thing and were over it and were happy with it. Most people like me are going to get out that first door and hang a right, or somebody's going to be running up going, "Hey, you need to do no. I'm getting my ship. I'm out of here." So it allows you to play as much as you want to or little as you want to. Something where Valhalla is like you can't complete that game in under like 80 hours. You just can't do it.
Right.
Because it's blocked by, you can't even go to this area if you're level whatever.
It's level gated, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that I'm liking that these games seem to be a little bit smaller and more dense and better. Bigger open worlds is not always the best way to go.
Xbox is certainly the place to play if you're a Western RPG fan at this
Absolutely.
point. They have so many of those. Yes.
True.
Well, I think that might complete a podcast.
That was it.
I believe so.
That was it. Guys, well done. Well done. Scott, you're not finished, though. You have to tell listeners how they can reach us.
Well, you can reach us right here on YouTube. Leave a comment below. If you just say hi, anything, please like, please subscribe. We're also on Twitter at PodDropped, and you can also listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on there too, and our audio quality will be much better than last week's because of some technical difficulties. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we always like to leave listeners with a little nutritious nugget from our
words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. That's right.
Okay.
Thick. What do you have for us this week?
You got to top last week.
I think the tone is going to be different.
That was my favorite. Yeah.
What was last week?
We obsess over food.
We obsess over food. That's right.
By Todd Howard. This week, a little bit darker.
All right, cool.
All right. Morality is the privilege of people in better situations.
Oh,
wow.
That's something you can chew on.
You can apply that to. Well, yeah, that, and you can apply that to Assassin's Creed too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
this podcast, Mass Effect. You went Paragon, or you went
right.
I went mid.
Paragon or Renegade. Yeah.
That's right.
I go mid.
No. Renegade was
of course you do.
Was Renegade the darker one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Paragon is Paragon of Virtue.
Punch the reporter.
I've done a couple of them. Yeah. Actually, honestly, I just replay Mass Effect 1 a lot on the different systems because it's on
everything
access,
now.
right?
Yeah,
it's on everything. So I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do Paragon here. I'm gonna do Renegade there. Any case, that's all I got.
All right, very good. Well, I guess that's gonna do it. We're gonna see everyone on Monday, next Monday, 7 days from now.
Cool.
Wow, let's go out on a fizzle. Let's go out on a fizzle. Bye,
Have
everybody.
a great week,
Bye.
everybody.
Yeah.